Well, hello everybody, it's Richard here and welcome back to my channel. And it's Sunday today, Sunday the 19th of April 2020. And as you can see, it's a slightly warmer afternoon, though it's about 15 degrees. And though it was quite cold earlier today, I actually had a shirt and jumper on when I went shopping at Waitrose this morning. I joined a very short queue, I have to say, and it all went extremely well, and got round and did my shopping and everything else. And I think the only thing there was shortage of this week, or today, was actually cornflakes. Apart from that, everything was fine. Kellogg's cornflakes seemed to be in short supply. Don't ask me why, but they were. Just a slight correction from yesterday in terms of that when I checked the Al Bowley discography at the back, the record that I played, which was If I Had $1 Million, in fact it is listed here, and it's actually the same number, October 31st 1934. It's recorded in New York, so I apologise for that. It was actually there, it's just that I had missed it when I was looking it up and saw the B side, not the A side, but never mind. But anyway, sit back and relax while I give you a little bit of an update for today, and then I'm going to play a very nice couple of tunes that I found amongst my collection, one of my collections that I've got in the workshop in the garage, and on a 7-inch, and I thought we'd talk about that a little bit as well. Several people have asked me on social media about the ISBN numbers for the books that I previewed yesterday. They were this one by Goebbels, which was by Peter Longreach, Commandant of Auschwitz, which was by about Rudolf Hess, introduced by Primo Levi, and that's actually the diary of Rudolf Hess. Double Cross by Ben McIntyre. And what I've done is, on the previous video from yesterday, if you go back on the comments box, on the description, I've actually listed them in full, and also the author as well as the ISBN number. The only one that doesn't have an author is this one, Rudolf Hess. So, hope that helps, viewers. Also, don't forget that you can follow me on LinkedIn if you're a business, or Twitter. I do have a Twitter account, and also Facebook if you're interested. And but though I tend to use that one more for people that I know more personally. But you can try and send me a request if you want to, and people certainly do. And it's great to have you as a Facebook contact and friend. So today I thought I'd talk about one or two things, just to let you know that Captain Tom Moore, who I featured 2 days ago, has now raised, would you believe, £23 million. I think that's an amazing amount of achievement. He's going to be asked to open the new Nightingale Hospital, which has opened in central London, and I think that's, oh sorry, no, not Nightingale in central London, that's already opened, sorry, take it back, the one in Birmingham, the one near him, at the NEC Centre in Birmingham, which I thought was, or is it, no, I got it wrong again, it's Harrogate, there we are. My brain is waking up this afternoon. It's the one at Harrogate that's opening shortly. So it's just to clarify, Captain Tom Moore is being asked to open the Harrogate Nightingale Hospital in the Midlands, in the United Kingdom. So there we go. A bit slow this afternoon, but anyway, yes. Just thought I'd mention one or two things. It's come to light that we estimate there's around 4,000 deaths now to be added to the 15,000 that was reported on today, and that's come from the National Care Forum. And I have to give a shout out to my good friend and colleague at the National Care Forum, Vic Rayner, who lives just outside Tunbridge Wells, because she's been on the radio this morning, Radio 4, and also on the television, and says there should be a ring of steel around care homes, because there's an underestimating of the numbers of deaths and those cases within the care sector. The government have woken up very late about that, and so I want to give a shout out to the National Care Forum, who are set up to support the not-for-profit sector of the care industry, and there's some larger organisations and some smaller ones there. And I've been a member of the National Care Forum for about, well, over 25 years, and until recently I was the chair of one of their subgroups, the Quality and Practice Forum, which I thoroughly enjoyed working with colleagues on that and taking part in various conferences. So it's been good fun as a professional. So that's one thing I was going to mention to you. The other thing is that I don't know what you've been keeping up to date with on your lockdown times, but I've been watching one or two programs either on Netflix, and you can watch that nationally or internationally, and also BBC Television 4. And on BBC 4 I've been watching Wolf Hall, the first series, and I didn't realise when I checked it came out in 2015. I can't believe it's that long ago. It's about the life of Cardinal Wolsey and also Henry VIII, and it stars Damian Lewis, who is an amazing actor, really good, and Claire Foy, who also took the part in the Queen episodes about Her Majesty the Queen over here on Netflix, funny enough. But that's on BBC 4. And on Netflix I've been watching a very good series called the Unorthodox, just had to remember then, Unorthodox, which is about the Jewish community, the Hasidic Jewish community in this country, and that's a really good watch. It's about a young lady who is married into that community and then escapes from New York back to Germany, to Berlin, and it's based on a true book that she's written afterwards. Quite harrowing, really, how she could be trapped in such an organisation which has such restrictions on her. So, and I'm also watching another one now on Netflix called Caliphate, which I'm into the second episode of that, and it's about ISIL in Raqqa, and how a young lady is going to stop a major bombing incident in Sweden. So it's a Swedish production dubbed into English, but it's certainly worth a watch. And if you're watching anything on Netflix that you think I might be interested in, then please let me know. So the other thing I thought I'd mention this afternoon is that I've been watching some YouTubers, is that the right word to use? Some channels on YouTube, and one of the ones I thoroughly enjoy watching because I got an interest in the Second World War is Professor Mark Felton, who has a channel and regularly updates about series of parts of the Second World War that really are quite unknown unless you're an historian. And one of those I did know a little bit about, but really fascinated, and I'm probably going to buy the book, is about William Joyce. If anyone knows about William Joyce, he was dubbed Lord Haw Haw, and he was a German Irish American who went to Germany, was a member of Mosley's fascist outfit, and broadcast during the Second World War and unstabilised the British public and got the British government quite worried and put out loads of propaganda. He and his wife Margret went across there to Germany, and then at the war's end managed to or tried to escape, but was caught by the British and was hung in 1945 at Wandsworth Prison for being a traitor. And but there's a fascinating book that's on Amazon I think I might buy, because I find these people quite interesting in their motivations and their mindset in the context of the Second World War. So there we go. So that's a little update really, and from the press. I hope you found that interesting. If you do find it interesting, don't forget to subscribe if you're a new subscriber. Don't forget to give me the good old thumbs up. And also, don't forget to comment, because I do look forward to your comments. I've had several in the last few days, and we're getting lots of views, so that's good news as well. And along with my 1.8 thousand subscribers to my YouTube channel, and on that basis, I've been doing some work today on the spring box of the Columbia 100 motor, and I featured a little way back, and I will make a video about that. And so I'll post some photographs about that. I'm cleaning up the old grease from that double spring motor, and also I put a picture about the broken 120, the Garrod 120 motor that I had to change the good old 73 for in the other day. Also, I found a plate that was fixed to the Columbia 119A, this one here, which has got N. Evans and Son, London Road, Crowborough, and such was the value of these machines that if this is a brass plate, I've cleaned it up this afternoon, I think I might add it to the 73, not because that's where it came from, but because it's a piece of history. And I think it's important that we recognise that when things are valued, they come with a valued plate that goes with them. So clearly Evans and Son of London Road, Crowborough, wanted to let it be known that they were the people to go to if you wanted to buy a quality gramophone. So I thought I'd mention that to you. So on the book front this afternoon, and what I would do is after the video has been posted, the following day I'll update that video comments box or the description box so that you can get the ISBN number, and if you want to purchase those books that I talk about and review in a light way, then you're very welcome to, and I'm sure they're available on Amazon. So the first one this afternoon is by a gentleman called John Nichol. He's the author, and it's called After the Flood. And this is a book written, which I haven't started reading yet actually, about John. This is a book that was written, which I actually must have got from Telegraph Books actually, because that's I've got the paper in there, and that's, I don't know how long ago, I've just literally just found that, so I don't know what year I bought that. Well, I've had it a while. This book is a follow-up to the Dambusters and Operation Cesare, I think it was called, with Guy Gibson and his team, and I find Guy Gibson and the Dambusters 167, I think it is, squadron, I find them quite fascinating, and I do enjoy watching the Dambusters film, which came out, by the way, not during the Second World War, but came out in 1954. And I've actually got a 78 of the Dambusters theme, which I might play at some point. But Guy Penrose Gibson, was a very young man. He died very young. He died at the age of 26 in a flying accident over Holland, and that's where he's buried. And I find him quite fascinating in his monumental rise to fame. And don't forget that 26 during the Second World War, during those Battle of Britain before, was actually quite old for a fighter pilot, and he started life actually flying Blenheims, I think, and actually joined 617 squadron that was formed specifically for the raids over the dams. And I was lucky enough to visit the Sorpe and the Murna Dam only back a few years ago. And as in my childhood, when I was schooling in Germany, I actually sailed in the actual lake itself, and had a fantastic experience. But when I went back there with my friend Mark Titley from Menden in Germany, where he lives with his wife, it was a really exciting time to be able to walk over that dam and think about those Lancaster bombers coming over and trying to, in fact succeeding in breaking that dam. The interesting part about it, there's a memorial just to the right of where the dam sits for those workers who were brought in. And the dam actually was repaired within 3 months. Hitler determined that it was going to be put back, and there was a lot of Russian labour force lost at the time anyway, but also a lot of forced labour was brought in to repair it, and for the Ruhr Valley, though it was flooded, and they say that it actually helped turn the war. I think it was more of a case of a propaganda coup than anything else. A lot of people lost their lives, and but it's a fascinating visit. If you ever get the opportunity to go there, you must do, because it's a wonderful place. You can take a boat trip out on the Murna, and I'll tell you something, the Germans really like their cream cakes, and I had some really nice cream cakes out on the deck there. I made a video when I came back, so if you go back into my channel and look for that, my visit to Germany, then you'd be able to experience some of the atmosphere, particularly on the riverboats. And I was very lucky also to be able to swim in the Sorpe, because Mark's wife's family own a very nice riverside country house right on the banks there, and which they've had in the family for a very long time. He's related to the Betterman family, and they produce lots of electrical ducting and other bits and pieces, and so interesting history there. But I thought I'd just mention that. But yes, the book is called After the Flood, What the Dambusters Did Next, and it's by John Nichol, who of course is a Falklands veteran. He was a pilot who was shot down and captured in Iraq and by Saddam Hussein, and so he and the other pilot, whose name escapes me, are quite famous. So that was a book I thought I'd get, but I haven't started reading yet, so I can't tell you what it's like. The next one is one I've had for a while now, called by Charles Glass, and that's called Deserter. And that was a book that I started reading, the least untold story of the Second World War, about the amount of deserters and the reasons they were deserting. And I've only got a very short way through this, but another great book to read, and get an insight into what was then considered to be cowardice, but in fact there were reasons for that. So yeah, so good, actually, good read, that one. And the one that I read on holiday this year was by Caroline Slocock, and that's People Like Us, and it's about Margaret Thatcher and me. Caroline was her personal private secretary when Margaret Thatcher was in power, and it's a fascinating practical, sort of what I call a practical read. It's all about the day-to-day stuff rather than some of the political stuff that was going on at Number 10, and Caroline has been well trailed by this book, and it's certainly and she's taken part in several documentaries, so a very different approach, but a very interesting book, because I do enjoy politics, and you know, it's good to keep up to date. So without further ado, as I always seem to say at the end of these videos, let's find out what today's music is going to be. And I've chosen from amongst my collection that I have in the garage workshop some 7-inch records. The 7-inch records, these small Eclipse ones, and also the Radio Bell or Edison Bell radio records, came out, I wouldn't like to say when they came out, 20s I suppose, and sometimes they were sold in places like Woolworths, slightly cheaper than your normal record shop, and not always were the artist, there were some pseudonyms often with the artists, but they weren't always named either, because they were doing it sort of to get around the copyright, I suppose, and also they were paid a different rate, is my understanding. The one that is named on the record I'm going to play is Harry Leader in this, and the labels quite often fade, so this label, I had trouble reading this, but it's a comedy on one side and a more serious dance band number on the other side. So Smoky Old Town is the side I'm going to play you, and on the B side, I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm going to play that side too. So I hope you enjoy that. And what we'll do, there's some other ones here that I'll play because they're quite quick play. So what I've done is stay tuned, because the two sides are played on the same clip. So do stay tuned. Let me know what you think about Netflix and anything that you're watching that you think I might be interested in. And I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow for day 14 of a tune a day, keep the COVID-19 away. Until then, keep safe, stay home, remember social distancing, and I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow. All the best now. On the Eclipse label, Smoky Little Town by Harry Leader and his band. Enjoy.
smoky little town I love. There is nothing very nice to see there, but for me it's paradise to be there. Gee, where humble folk will treat you kindly. No one ever turns you down. Where the shadows fall are the truest hearts of all, down in the smoky little town.
Side 2 on the Eclipse label, Harry Leader and his band, I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man, and I'm Doc. Oh, yeah. Where's my spinach? Oh, yes. I'm one tough gazookas, which hates all polluters, which ain't on the up and square. I fix them and box them and always out-rough them, and none of them gets nowhere. If anyone dares to risk my fist, it's popping and wham, understand? So keep good behavior, that's your one lifesaver with Popeye, the Sailor Man. Keep Popeye the Sailor Man. Keep Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish, 'cause I eat my spinach. Keep Popeye the Sailor Man. Hello, what are you doing here, Popeye? I'm waiting for my gal, Casino. Is she fair hair? Yeah. Blue eyes? Yeah. Wears the pink frock? Yeah. Well, I haven't seen her. Where's my spinach? Good Dad! Each morning on waking, I kick big vibrating a telegraph pole into. I tear up like paper, the biggest skyscraper, to show up my strength to do. I walk on the railway, and I crack the track, then pull up the rails with one hand. So just keep alongside, don't get on the wrong side of Popeye the Sailor Man. Popeye the Sailor Man. Keep Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish, 'cause I eat my spinach. Keep Popeye the Sailor Man. Yeah.
There we go, that was a tune a day with Harry Leader and his band. See you tomorrow for day 14.